Hello, bonne année or Happy New Year and welcome to France 24's weekly music show. I'm Marjorie Hash and I'm delighted to welcome on our first music show of the year an Australian artist and also chef who has been living in France for a few years now. With his crooner voice and his delicate penchant for artists like Scott Walker, he's managed to break out in the French indie scene, both through collaborations with other French artists such as Le Super Homard, but also solo with his recently released album, Yuletide and I'll Tide with Jan. Maxwell Farrington, thank you so much for joining us here on the France 24 studio.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Now, how long have you been in France and what's brought you here?
About 8 years, and I just came here just for going with the flow, basically. I was in London and then Leeds, and then somehow managed to get out of England and come to France, where I'm very happy.
Yeah, and you've had a mixture of living in Marseille, Toulouse, and now Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you like about it in particular?
Brittany's beautiful because it's got the beach, it's got nice cities, it's got nice little villages, it's cheap to live. It's got everything that's great about France, but also it's Brittany, so it's nicer.
Nice and special. Now you're a chef. Now, what's your signature dish, and also what do you find familiar about composing dishes but composing music? Is there sort of a similar parallel between them?
What's composing dishes? Well, I think with a song, you have a guitar and drums and a voice, or whatever you have. You sort of take the elements and then you just make something out of what you have. I think cooking is a bit like that as well. You look at the ingredients, you go, oh, that would go well with that, and this is what I have. Oh, I don't have that, so I'll replace it with that. And then you've got hopefully, something nice to eat.
Yeah. And what's your specialty?
I like fish and seafood and offal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough.
And vegetables.
A good mixture. Well, how about you check out one of the tracks from your album? We were talking about Brittany and the nature surrounding it, and this video plays tribute to it.
Great.
On and On, one of the songs you can find on Maxwell Farrington's latest album, Yuletide and I'll Tide with Jan. Can you tell us a little bit more about this title? How did you come up with it?
Well, it's a Christmas album, and Yuletide means end of year festivities. And I did the album with a friend called Jan, and Yuletide, and it's a play on words. It doesn't work.
But you still went for it.
It's an in-joke for myself, basically.
And
I needed a title.
Well, can you also tell us a little bit more about your look? Because I noticed in your music videos, they're all kind of interlinked together. And you have a red bonnet, which reminds me of this underseas explorer, Jacques Cousteau, who's very famous. Was it a tribute to him? Talk me through the look.
Well, I found the little hat in an op shop, and I liked it. And yeah, it reminded me of Jacques Cousteau, and I thought it'd be great for the clip.
Is he an inspiration as a character who goes and explores things, you know?
Why not?
Okay, now let's move back to your music now. I mentioned Scott Walker as one of your influences, and he was a 60s teen pop icon and then an avant-garde sort of creative explorer of music in a way. And then you've also got Lee Hazelwood, who collaborated for a long time with Nancy Sinatra, who kind of like feed into this vibe. But you've also got some electronic beats that are very 80s and some banjo. Tell me a bit more about your influences and musicians that you like.
Well, Scott Walker was my first love, I guess, with avant-garde music, and his voice is just incredible. Lee Hazelwood for songwriting, brilliant. And obviously I couldn't live my life without listening to lots of other different genres of music. So I just take everything that I like and make with it what I can. And hopefully it's good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's...
And how did you decide to get into music and write music yourself?
I've always liked singing in karaoke bars. And then I learned the guitar when I was about 19 years old. And in the afternoon that I learned guitar, which was just 2 chords, and it was a song called Part-Time Punks by Television Personalities.
Very nice.
2 chords. After that, I'm like, cool, I'll start writing songs. And then for years, I just wrote really bad songs and then got a little bit better.
How much of an influence has living in France had on your creativity? Has French music, influenced, how you write songs or how you think musically?
I suppose because when I started writing music, I focused a lot on lyrics. And since living in France, I've sort of not cared so much about lyrics because they don't really understand what I'm singing about anyway. So I focus more on melody. And then I write the lyrics afterwards, sort of seeing how the melody works. And so I think France has sort of influenced me that way, and I'm much more prolific. I can write a lot more melody because I'm not so focused on the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I can write more songs, and
What kind of feedback have you had as well from your music making in France, but like back home in Australia? Has people reacted to it in particular?
Well, I think there's one guy, Blackman, who lives in Melbourne, who I think is one of the best Australian singer-songwriters. He likes the album. He likes my music, so I'm good. And my mum likes it as well.
Very important to have your mum like the music. What are your plans for 2023?
I'm opening up a restaurant called Le Neptune in Binnick, because I'm also a cook. So that's going to keep me pretty busy. We've just got the keys, so I need to clean up the kitchen, and it's also a hotel if you want to come and stay.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that, and I've also been working on a second album with Le Super Homard, and we've been working with the Nancy Orchestra National de Nancy. And so that's going to be huge, hopefully.
We've got a huge and busy year coming up, so that's pretty exciting. How about we check out some of the other new releases that have come out these recent times? And we're going to start off with a fantastic Nigerian-South African collaboration. Award-winning Nigerian disc jockey and record producer Rexxie has released an excellent track entitled Lagos that features Busiswa, LAX and Shashni. Let's take a look.
Take me away to Lagos. I wanna feel the vibe in Lagos. Sunshine is cool for Lagos. Lagos. I wanna take me away to Lagos. I wanna feel the vibe in Lagos. Sunshine is cool for Lagos. Lagos. Lagos.
Fantastic track, Lagos. Nice collaboration there between South African artists and Nigerian artists. Now, Maxwell, anyone you'd like to collaborate with? Because we've mentioned Le Super Homard is your long-time collaborator now, but who's your dream artist to work with?
Dream. Paul McCartney.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone else in particular?
Living or dead?
All options.
In the contemporary music scene, I'd say Taylor Sky. He's got an outfit called Jockstrap. Or A.G. Cook from PC Music. But I'm working with Christophe Vaillant, aka Le Super Homard, so you can't really get much better.
Yeah, that's exciting. Now, in your music videos, you had horses. The next artist I'm going to talk about also has horses because she's an American lady who shares my love for cowboy shirts, horses. She's called Margo Price, and in the last past has worked with Jack White, and she's just releasing her 4th album entitled Strays. It's full of beautiful country, Americana and soulful rock. Here's one of the singles. It's called Change of Heart.
With a hole in your pocket and a blade on your shoulder. Well, if you break both your legs, oh, don't come running to me. I've had a change of heart. I've had a change of heart. Worry about the war. Nobody's winning. Don't worry about the rain. It's only beginning. I never loved you and I always will. Had a change of heart.
An excellent singer-songwriter there who likes horses, a bit like yourself. I mean, I want to know more about the horse that's in one of your music videos.
Terrified of them.
Really?
Well, I never grew up riding horses, so they terrify me. They're beautiful creatures, but
How did you bring one into your video?
Jan Yuletide Nighthouses, this particular Jan.
Yeah.
He was brought up with horses. His family is.
So you imposed them. Horse boy.
It was my idea, but I said, "Hey, can we do this on the beach this morning?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, why not?"
Yeah, I like that you go out of your comfort zone. That's really good, though. And that brings us to the end of our Encore music show. France 24's latest news bulletin is coming up in just a few minutes, which gives me enough time to remind you to follow our culture news on our website, france24.com, and of course our social media, Encore F24. A big thank you to Maxwell Farrington for coming on the show. Remember, his album Yuletide is out. Yuletide and I'll Tide with Jan. We're going to wrap up the show with one of my favourite new releases, which marks the return of Iggy Pop. Now, he's 75 and he can still rock out half naked like in the heyday of the Stooges. The album is called Every Loser and features Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses. Here's one of the tracks. It's called Frenzy. Ooh.